right. Hey guys, how are you? Are you ready for day number 1 of 21 days of prayer for your business? Now, I want to set some little ground rules at the first here and make sure that we do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started to make sure that you guys kind of know a little bit about me and how my brain works during these Facebook Lives. And then to answer a few questions up front that I am sure you are going to ask somewhere along the way. And if my eye catches the comment, I will totally get sidetracked. So first off, I want to say thank you so very much for being here. Good morning, you guys. And first and foremost, hey Angie, how are you? I wanted just to go through a few things about the book. I've been getting a lot of questions about people saying, Monique, I don't have the book. I heard there's a book, and am I going to miss out? No. So that's the first thing that I want us to cover before we get started is that we started this whole 21 days of prayer for your business last year in 2016 on social media. And guess what? We did not have a book. We just met every day via Periscope. This year we're doing it Facebook Lives. But last year we did it via Periscope and we had no book. And so I want you to know that if you don't have the book, please don't let that be an excuse that you're not going to follow along every single day. If you're here in this group and you can watch the videos, then you are getting the exact same experience that everybody got last year when we walked through this together. Jeremiah, my awesome husband, has pinned a post. We're learning a little bit about Facebook Lives the more that we study about it. And so he pinned a little post that says, Day 1, Give God Control. And I believe somewhere on there he's going to talk about the book. If you want the book, you can get the book. It's at shop. Oops. This is the book was weighing it down and keeping this even. Shop. Spell out U-Y-O-U infuse.com. But if you don't have it in your budget or you don't currently have it, don't worry. You watching these videos, but this is what it looks like. And it is a book/workbook. Every single day, though, in the videos, we are going to cover the topics together. And so if you have it, it has the book. It's got a few little prompts for you, questions to get your mind going. And the other question I have been getting a lot is, Monique, when do I need to read it? Do I need to read it before? If I have the book, do I need to read that day's topic before you do the video or after? I would recommend doing it before. I can tell you what I'm doing. Personally, I am getting up every morning a couple of hours before I do the video, and I'm getting ready, and I am doing this right alongside with you. And so don't jump ahead if you're like me and you're impatient and you want to do a couple of days, or if you get behind, don't feel like you've got to get caught up, okay? So let's say tomorrow you've got, a crazy appointment way early in the morning and you get behind. Don't feel like you've got to do 2 days in a row to get caught up, okay? Just follow the process every single day. So if, you skip day 2, well then, you know what? Now you're just 1 day behind and you're going to finish 1 day later. But the process of this is really for your mind to focus on 1 day at a time and think on that throughout the day. So today's topic is giving God control. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that, but we're going to let it process and we're going to think on it throughout the day. I asked some questions in the book, and if you don't have the book, I'm going to ask you some questions here, and I want you to think on it, and I want you to write it down. There's verses that you can memorize and meditate that go along with today's topic. And so the point is to really, for this 21 days, not to just go through it all and pile it in. We really want each day to soak in and for you to think about it. So for me, even the process of how I was going to do these videos and trying to figure it out, we as a team collectively talked about maybe me videoing everything ahead of time and just putting each video up every day, and so that way I had a lot of the groundwork done ahead of time. And I really thought, you know, this is not how I want to do it. I really want to walk through the exact same experience with you guys each day, experiencing each day, diving into each day, praying and meditating on the verses each day, because they really do build on each other. Okay, so again, you don't have to have the book, and second off, if you get behind, please just, these videos are going to live every day here in the group. So don't feel like you've got to do 3 or 4 days to get caught up. Just follow the process and do that day, whichever day you're on. All right. Okay. Well, with all that being said, I wanted to first start off by just saying thank you. Thank you for, devoting this 21 days for a firm foundation on God. I am very emotional today. And so, you know, bear with me. I thought I would be completely fine, and I had to go get me a little thing of tissue. But this is a process that has been, it's near and dear to my heart. And I feel like I've just been like sleeping and breathing this whole process of the book and the videos and everything. So I am highly emotional, and so you just need to forgive me. I may be a blubbering mess today, but I just know how much this 21 days, what it's done for my life and the foundation that it's built, and really giving God control, how it has impacted my personal life and my family's life. And so I am just so excited that you guys are deciding to give this whole thing a shot, you know. So I honor you, and I give you 10 million high fives for embracing this journey. You know, we've done this together collectively via social media, and now 1 year into it, I've been able to hear a lot of stories, and my inbox, you know, if you have messaged me, oh my goodness, my inbox is so out of control. And I want you to know that I've read so many of the messages. And I'm sorry if I haven't responded to every one of them. But not only have I seen what this has done in my own life and my own family's life, I've also seen and heard what it has done in other people's lives. And, you know, it's not surprising, because I know that's how the Lord works. I've said it, I say it in this book, and I've said it before, but, you know, it is not going to be the words in this book that change your life. It's not going to be the words in this book that make this milestone in your life that you're like, that is where things got kicked up to crazy level. It's not my words. It's really going to be the fact that you are seeking after God. If you are watching this right now, there's almost 530 people watching this live, and no telling how many of you guys are going to be watching it later. But the thing is the reason why you are going to have the same story that countless other people have messaged me with is because you are seeking after God. And we're going to talk about that verse in a minute. But when you seek after him, you find him. And that's the reason why there is going to be some crazy, mind-blowing things going down these 21 days. But I wanted to discuss with you a few things of the messages that I get here on this first day. Because I know that if countless people have messaged me these questions or these topics or these things, it's probably something that many of you watching this now, if you've never walked through these 21 days, are going to experience. And the very first thing I hear so often is, Monique, hey, listen, so I'm not for sure. I feel compelled to do this 21 days, but I'm not for sure. I've never really been a religious person. And what do you think about that? I mean, I really don't know. Or, Monique, you don't know what kind of person I am. You don't know the things that I do. You don't know my struggles, and you don't know my issues. And I just really don't know, will God hear me if I devote this time to him? I mean, is it pointless because you don't know who I am? I've heard things like, I've turned my back on God. I've been close to God before, but I've really not wanted to have anything to do with him. Monique, you don't understand. I've grown up in the church and I've been hurt. These messages, you guys, I get countless messages, the same stories over and over. Monique, I've been hurt in church. And how can people who proclaim they love Jesus so much be so hurtful to me? And why do I want to serve that kind of God? Monique, you don't understand. I trusted God and I loved him, but do you know the things that's happened to me? Do you know the trials that I have faced, the hurts that I have experienced? And why would a God who loves me allow those things to happen to me? And at the end of the day, I've just had to walk away from him. I've heard countless messages. Monique, maybe I don't go to the same type of church that you go to, or maybe we don't believe the same types of things that you believe. Can I participate? Yes. I want you to know I've also heard other messages of people saying, Monique, I'm so sorry that I get emotional. Monique, you have no clue. I did the 21 days of prayer last year, and 3 days into it, I found out I had cancer. And the Lord was so close by my side during those 21 days, and it came at such a great time because it was when I was at my lowest. I read a message from a sweet lady saying that midway through it, her child started having major health issues and they were in intensive care pretty much the remaining of the 21 days. And while she walked through such a trial, she felt Jesus so close to her. So I don't understand. I'm so sorry. I don't understand why some people go through those things. I don't understand why some people look like they've got it all together and some people have so many things and struggles that they have to face. But the beautiful thing in the messages that I got was that the people who faced those hard times, they felt Jesus so close. And so that's my prayer. I don't know what your story is. I don't know where on day one you begin your journey. I don't even know what the next 21 days are going to hold for you. I don't know if they're going to be easy. I don't know if they're going to be hard. I'm so sorry. But I do know that no matter what you go through, Jesus is constant and he's the same. And he is a friend that sticks closer than a brother, and he can give peace that only he can give. And I don't have all the answers. And what I want you to understand over the next 21 days is that I am not this Bible theological, know everything ins and outs about the Bible. And I don't even feel like I'm the most qualified person to be leading a bunch of people through 21 days. I know all of the imperfections that I have in my life. And I may say a lot of things that maybe aren't even right. So I want you to know that you don't need to be just trusting on my words. You need to be hearing from God, because there's things that I may say along the way. Those are the insecurities that I have as I'm writing a book, or as before I go and I hit live to go live with this video is, Monique, what if you say something wrong? What if you aren't right? Or, but at the end of the day, the Lord knows my heart, and he knows that I so desperately want people to know him like I know him. And I'm still learning and I'm still growing. And so have grace and mercy on me as we go through these next 21 days. But just know that I have been thinking about you. And the reason why I'm so emotional is because you have been on my heart for a long time. and I've been praying for you, and Natalie and I have been talking. Natalie is my bestest friend, and you will be hearing about her a long time. And last night before I went to bed, she called me and she said, I just want you to know that I'm praying for you. And my kids, Elena came in here and hugged me this morning and said, Mom, praying for you. This is something that it's been a group effort, and our whole team and my friends and my family have been praying for you. And so anyway, so we're going to get started. I want Babble on every day like that, but the first day I had to get all that out on the table, okay? So the next thing you need to know is that I have a hard time staying focused, and so I am not ignoring you as you comment, but if my eye tends to look down here at the comments, I get sidetracked, and so I zone in on that little dot on my iPhone, and I go after it. And then at the end, I'll look at the comments. And so just know I love that you comment, and I will go back and I will read through the comments and I will answer as I can. Jeremiah is really good about looking at the questions and answering, but I don't want you to think that I'm being rude, but that is just me, and I know my shortcomings and my weaknesses, and that is staying focused and squirrel moments. So with all of that being said, let's get started. Day number 1, giving God control. Oh my goodness. Okay. Whenever we first started this whole journey of let's do 21 days of prayer, I had this massive dry erase board in my downstairs basement. We were living in Utah, and I just wrote on that board every single thing that I felt like I personally had to walk through, and I had walked through on my journey over the last 4 years. Now, if you've got the book, you've heard my story. But if you don't have the book, yay, I'm going to tell you the story right now, okay? And so my story goes a little bit like this. I have a little bit of issue with control. I like control. Are there any of you out there that like control? It's kind of a genetic thing in my family even. My dad loves control. He's downstairs watching this right now. I can see how my grandmother his mother loves control. I can see how, my children even, how they've got that. They love having control. But I think for the majority of everybody, we love to have control. I start off in the intro by telling my story of from as far back as I can remember, I have loved the area of sales, okay? As far as business goes, I have loved the area of sales. I don't know if any of you remember whenever you were in school, you would do like these little sales, whether it was magazines or books or candy bars or things of that nature. But I loved the sales area. I was never intimidated to knock on somebody's door and say, hey, you want to buy a candy bar? Or anything like that. I love sales. So for as long as I can remember, that's kind of been inside of me of who I was. And as I got older and I graduated from high school, I started working at Macy's in the Christmas department, and later moved on to the housewares department. And I did retail a lot of my early years in my 20s. And loved sales. I loved sales, loved everything about it. I felt like it was very natural to me, okay? It was something that I loved to do, I felt good at. And a funny thing happened though. After I had children, I started thinking, Monique, you really need to think about a career, a job that frees you up and gives you some extra time to spend with your kids. And so therefore, I started researching all of these careers, and the one that kept coming up into my mind was nursing. Okay, Monique. So this is what you need to do. You need to become a nurse, and you can work weekends and be at home all week with your children. And this is fantastic. This is what you need to do. Like Monique, let's you be in control a little bit of your destiny here. This is what you need to do. And so I went and I applied for nursing school. Now, hear me out. Nursing school is a very noble profession. If you are a nurse, hello, you are awesome, and you were probably made and created for that career. This chick right here, absolutely not. Hello, I was the girl who would go visit somebody in the hospital and pass out. I kid you not. Have blood drawn, pass out. Okay, so if you get sick and throw up every time you go to the hospital because you're like freaked out by hospitals, probably being a nurse is not the smartest thing for you to do. But hey, it's what I did, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go do this, and I enrolled in nursing school. Okay, so I start nursing school, and about my second semester into nursing school, I was obsessed with scrapbooking. I started scrapbooking. Has anybody ever got into that? Like, you know, you buy all of the paper, and then like you buy 20 million pieces of paper, and you like do 2 little layouts. Well, I started developing this love for scrapbooking, and all of a sudden, I started seeing all of this product in magazines, but yet I could never find it locally in any of my stores. And so I say to my husband, hey, you know what? We should open up a scrapbook store. And he's like, what? I'm like, hey, look, the product's not out there. So what any sane, rational individual who does that is in their second semester of nursing school, they go and they open up a scrapbook store. I mean, doesn't that seem right? I mean, who would think otherwise? There was a need, there was no products, so hey, let's go open up a scrapbook store. So that is what we did. It was insane. So in 2004, we opened up the cutest little scrapbook store, and it was so unique, not like your other scrapbook stores that were out there with like these big teddy bear stickers or like very grandma-ish, although I'm starting to get a little bit older and grandma-ish doesn't sound too old. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? It was like trendy. It was cool. It was like a little edgy, if scrapbooking can be edgy, you know? And we just started like rocking and rolling with the scrapbook store. Our little business took off. Now, granted, I'm still in the middle of nursing school, okay? Still in the middle of nursing school. But now I really don't care much about nursing, but I've committed to it. And so I'm going to finish nursing school because it was really hard up to that point to do what I had done to get into it. And then also just the first 2 semesters about killed me. And so now I'm like, I've got to finish it. But now my love is the scrapbook store. So we are there 24/7, and I love everything about it. I loved buying products. I loved merchandising. I loved marketing. I loved like working with vendors. I loved everything about it. And we started seeing a lot of success. And then all of a sudden people were saying, you need to expand. You need to open up a second location. Oh my gosh, Monique, a store would be so good over here. And so I started thinking, okay, yeah, we need to open up a second location. And all through this time with the crazy success, these little things started happening of getting my priorities way out of line. Getting just a smidge prideful. Okay, a lot prideful. Thinking anything we touched would turn to gold because obviously we were like the store. I mean, hello, everybody was trying to copy us. Everybody was trying to do everything that we were doing. Other scrapbook stores were going out of business. Hello, yes. I mean, isn't that like what defines you as success in business when you start putting your competitors out of business? Yes, this is awesome. You know what I'm saying? So we start getting a little cutthroat. Oh my gosh, going to trade shows, I'd be like walking in a booth and they would know who we were. And I'm like, they know who we are. We got it going on. Okay? So it started way going to my head. Not cool at all. And then I was like, we're opening up a second location. To which all of these people around me were going, Monique, I really don't think you need to open up a second location. It's probably not the wisest decision. To which I'm thinking, you are such a dream crusher. What do you know? I mean, hello, everything I have been doing has been successful. Everything I'm touching is turning to gold, and you are just jealous because you haven't got it going on and you're a dream crusher, and I'm not going to listen to you. Okay? So started getting an attitude, and we are doing things our way, how we want to do it. That is not a good place to be, you guys. And so That was around 2006, 2007 is when we opened up the second location. And by 2008, things were going downhill very, very, very quickly. It wasn't good at all. And long story short, we ended up selling our business. Everything crashed and burned, and we lost everything. We lost our house, we lost our car, we lost friendships. It was bad. The greatest thing though is that we lost a lot of that pride. You know, when you lose things, that's the good that comes from it, because hopefully you lose that pride along the way, okay? And we like to say that that was the best, worst year of our life. It was so hard, but it was so good and worth it. You know, if I were to go back and do things and go, Monique, you could go back and do things differently and not have to walk through that. You know, I am just not sure that I would redo it all, because we took away so many amazing life lessons from that time. And while it was hard, we grew so much from it. So 2008, we lost it all. Now you remember that nursing degree that I got, that I never ended up using after I graduated? Well, it was about time to put that nursing degree to work, and I did not want to at all. Matter of fact, now Eric Hudson, who is our business financial manager and all of that good stuff, he was the one I went to back then, and we went to his house and we laid everything out on the table, and we were like, this is where we're at. And he goes, Monique, I've never known you not to be a hard worker. You're going to have to go nurse. And I sat at his kitchen table and boohoo cried, because I didn't want that. I really knew that being a nurse was not, while it's for a lot of people, it really wasn't who I felt like I was made to be. And it's not where I had my confidence. But I knew I had to do it. And it was hard. And he goes, Monique, it's just going to be 2 years. Now, I remind him that I nursed for 4 years. But he was like, just do it for a little while. Get yourself out of this predicament and move on. So my husband started working at Church of the Highlands, and right around this time is when we started attending Church of the Highlands in Birmingham, Alabama. Now, Jerry and I grew up in church our whole life. We even attended a ministry training school in Illinois. It's actually where we met. So it's not like we had never known God or had, you know, communion with Him or interaction with Him. But during this time, when we were walking through one of our hardest times of life, and again, you know, let me say it, that was a hard time for us. And I know a lot of people go through things a whole lot harder, but that was our hard season. And when we walked through that, that was a time that we became so close to Jesus. And so for the next 4 years, I'm working as a nurse, and Jeremiah is working at our Church of the Highlands. And I'll tell you guys, those 4 years, they were lonely. They were me walking in still a lot of my insecurities, feeling like I was a failure. It was a hard 4 years. But somewhere towards probably year 3 mark, around 2011, I really felt like it was time for me to move on, but I didn't know what that was going to look like. I could sense it, that it was time for me to hang up my stethoscope, but guess what? Now we had made, we had got ourselves out of that predicament, and we were even living pretty comfortably. We were able to go to Disney and have a nice little vacation, go on a Disney cruise if we wanted to. We weren't living a very extravagant life, but we were very comfortable, and we were able to do some nice things. But I felt very much in my spirit, or whatever you want to call it, that it was time to move on. But I just couldn't say no to the money, because the money was nice, and we were living in a nice home and getting to do nice things. And I went through that period for like a year, and I was miserable every day that I went to my job, because I knew that I wasn't supposed to be there. I knew the time was over for me, but I didn't know what I was going to do. Like, what do I do? If I quit, what happens? Like, I don't know what's next. And so it finally got to a point to where it was so strong. When I would come home every day, I was so miserable in my job. I would cry almost every single night. I just did not like what I was doing. And finally, on a Sunday, I will never forget, I was like, Lord, you are going to have to help me. Sometimes we just have to be honest with him. He knows, but just us voicing it kind of brings freedom and sets this ball or this snowball in motion. And I said, Lord, I'm going to be honest with you. I know that my time is done here. I know my time is done here, but I am having a very difficult time saying no. I'm having a very difficult time turning away from this career because I'm comfortable. The money is good. I might be miserable, but I'm liking the stuff that I'm getting to do, right? That was on a Sunday. I will never forget going into work the next day, and I took a picture. If you followed me on social media, you've seen my story. But I see this rainbow coming out of the top of the hospital that I worked at. And I was like, whoa. And I'm telling you, think it is kooky if you want. It was not this loud, audible voice, but I felt it. And it was so almost audible that it is over. It is it's finished. It's finished. It's finished. And I'm thinking, okay, like how? What? Maybe I'm just going to have a good day at work. Like, I don't know. Maybe now I'm not going to be like having these like, I don't like what I'm doing moments. Like, I don't know what that means, but I've just felt it in my spirit. And so that led to Tuesday, which was the absolute worst day of my working career. And a lot of things went down that I will not go into details, but that led to Wednesday making it very easy for me to do something that's probably very highly unprofessional and that I don't recommend. It's not my proudest moment of my working career, but I literally took off my badge and set it on the table and said, I'm done, and left like right there, 4:00 in the afternoon, and I was to work until 7. I mean, done. Absolutely done. I can't do this anymore. And again, while that might not be highly professional, I believe the Lord allowed situations because I said, Lord, I need your help. I honestly believe those 2 days that I had there, it was kind of him pushing me out of the nest going, okay, let me make it a little bit easier on you, sister. Here you go. Out the door you go. And I remember driving home going, oh my gosh, okay, wow, this is what's next. And I have no clue. That was in August of 2012. August of 2012, you guys. And I had no clue what was going to happen. I didn't know. I didn't know what was in store. But I need you to understand, I had such a peace. I had no clue where the money, I understood that at that point in time, I was making more than what my husband was making at church, in his job. And so I knew that I was not just cutting our income in half, I was more than cutting it in half. And I had no clue what was going to happen. But I had such a peace, and I knew he was going to take care of it. And can I tell you, Jeremiah was the most amazing husband to not pressure me, to not say, Monique, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, get back to work. Like, he just knew. He knew I was miserable. He knew that this was something that obviously the Lord had his hand in, and we didn't know what was in store. He didn't pressure me into going to find another nursing job. We sat and we waited. That was August, September, October. We knew we had enough money saved up that we would be okay until probably January or February, but we didn't know what we would do after that. August, September, October, November, December, no money. So what do we start doing? I start selling everything in my house. You guys, my bedroom suit that I'd had since before we got married, the dresser, gone, bed, mattresses down to the floor. I was selling everything I could on Craigslist. You guys, we sold everything. My china, my crystal, everything that I had purchased We were selling and I had no clue. So here we are getting to the month of January, and I'm thinking, I have no clue what's going to happen now. We've pretty much sold it all. And literally getting down to some things that I really didn't want to let go of, like my daughter's 2 American Girl dolls. Like I don't want to get rid of these things, like things that were very kind of near and dear to me that had like sentimental feelings attached to it. I didn't want to get rid of those things. So January was the month. January, 4 years ago, right now, 4 years ago, January 2013, I have this business opportunity come my way. And you need to know, I'm not going to talk specifically about what business I'm in or what company I'm in, because I really want everybody who's watching this to feel very comfortable sharing it with whatever business or career they're in. And I don't want anybody to ever think there's a hidden agenda with this. So I'm just going to speak of the company that was introduced to me. But I have this business opportunity that was presented that I said I would never do. I vocalized over and over and over and over, I'm not going to do this. Like, you need to understand, I'm not going to do this business. I don't even care that we need the money. However, whatever is down the road for me, it is not going to be this, because I've never wanted to do this type of business. It's not happening. But in January of 2013, the ball started rolling, and really the Lord started opening some doors that I knew, okay, well, maybe I should never say never. And maybe I should give this possible idea a try. Now, this happened during a time of 21 days of prayer and fasting that our church at Church of the Highlands does every single year. It couldn't have come at a better time, really. And because of our past failures in business, because we had failed so desperately, lost it all, had these dreams, went and executed them, but got our priorities way out of line and really did not even let God have any say in that. And because this was something I said I never would do, that is when I looked at Jeremiah and said, okay, well, here's the deal. I'm having this idea about doing the business, but before we do it, before we commit, let's devote this 21 days of prayer that we're doing at Church of the Highlands. I'm just going to devote it to praying for a vision for it, praying for the Lord really to have his way, really to hand him over control. And then at the end of the 21 days, we'll kind of see how I feel, see if there's really something to it, and we'll go from there. Really, that is what happened. And so we dive into the 21 days. You know, my Pastor Chris, during those 4 years where we were walking through kind of that hard time, those rebuilding years, I loved hearing Pastor Chris tell the story of how he launched the Church of the Highlands. He launched it right at the beginning of a new year. And our church at the time was one of the fastest growing churches in the nation. And everybody used to say, how are you doing it? How is this church one of the fastest growing churches? And he would always tell the story about how he launched that church on 21 days of prayer. When he planted the new church from zero, everybody would say, the best time to plant a church is at the new year in January, because everybody is wanting to get back in church. They're wanting to start off right. They're wanting to start the year right. So the best time to launch a church is the 1st of January. But he said, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to launch the church the 1st of January. I'm going to spend the first 21 days praying for a firm foundation and let that foundation be on prayer. and then we're going to launch the church. And no matter how many times he told that story, I have heard that story told so many times. I love it. And that story inspired me. And we always said, Jerry and I said, if we ever do a business again, we will do the exact same thing. You see, I was a dreamer. I am a dreamer. I had lived for 4 years not being a dreamer. So stepping out and dreaming again, it made me feel alive, but at the same time, I'm cautious. And so we go into those 21 days saying, Lord, this was my prayer during those 21 days. Lord, I give you control. Lord, you know how bad when I was involved, when I was in control, how I royally screwed things up. Lord, I need you. I'm telling you, if I do this business, Lord, I cannot do this on my own. I will not do it on my own. Like, I will not do this without you right by my side every step of the way. I have got to have you. And Lord, please help me keep my priorities in line. Lord, I'm scared. I know how I am. I know how I like control. I know how I like to do things my own way. But Lord, I need you to be right beside me. And I need you to push me back in line. When I try getting in control, you pull yourself back to where you're in charge of it. These are the things that I prayed during those 21 days. Lord, I don't know how to do this business. Lord, actually, I said I would never do this business. So I need you to give me a vision. I need you to give me direction. I need you to open up doors. Lord, I need you to show me what to do. Lord, I need you to put people in my path. Lord, I need you in every aspect of everything I do. Those were the things that I prayed. Those were the things that I prayed, you guys. Lord, this is not about me. This journey is not about me. I'm done with things being about me. Lord, I need this to be about you. I need it to be about so much more than success. I need it to be about you. These are the types of things I prayed, okay? Lord, there's a lot of junk. I need freedom from all of that. There's a lot of insecurities that I know I can't bring into this business. I need you to help me. That's what I prayed. A few days into it, man, maybe I don't need to get into that because I talk about that on day 4, I think. But long story short, I'll go into the next part of it. I felt like the way that I could do it was just by always shouting his name. I said, Jesus, I will forever, no matter what you do. Oh, listen to this. I said, Lord, whatever you put before me, I will do. I'll do it. Whatever you put before me, I will do it. And I said, Lord, I will always shout your name. I will always give you credit. I will never take the credit for myself. I will always point people to you. And can I tell you guys, like, if you know me, like, it's so crazy because I think a lot of people have only known me since, like, I've found much success in business. And, they follow my journey now and think, oh, Monique looks like she has it all together. And Monique looks like this superstar business person or whatever. But for the people who've known me from back, 2004, 2008, 2012, you know that I don't have it all together. And you know that I've got major issues and I've got major flaws. And so I just want you to know that when I look at the last 4 years that my journey has been on, how can I not shout his name? How can I not give him credit? I am one of the biggest dreamers. I would dare to challenge anybody out there watching this, whether or not you're a bigger dreamer than I am. I am one of the biggest dreamers that I know, and he has blown my mind with what he has done over the last 4 years. Sometimes I get messages that say, Monique, how do you know that God is real? How do you know? I have a hard time believing that in somebody I can't see. Yeah, I know we can't see him. I just know that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. And I just know that I have faith, that all of this is legit and all of this is true.
But man, I have watched him time and time again. Even when I was going through the hard times, it's not just my success that makes me understand that he's good and he's faithful and that he's real. Even in my hardest of times, when I was at the lowest of lows, I felt him, I experienced him, and I had no doubt that he was real. And so the 21 days giving God control, we're almost finishing up, you guys. Giving God control. The biggest, and to end up my story, if you don't know me and you don't know my story, I ended up embracing the business. I did the 21 days and I ended up embracing the business that I said I would never embrace. And within 14 months, hit top levels in the company that I was with or am with, and did it in record time. And it's just been insane, the things that have come from it. So that's kind of my story with that, okay? But the very first thing, today's topic, what is so important today that I want you to focus on and that I want you to think on is giving God control. If you've got the book, oops, I need to put my Bible here. Sorry. If you've got the book, I want you to flip through on page 2. I want you to flip through to page 2. And I want you to think about, for the people who don't have the book, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what is on page 2, so you can do the homework in a little notebook. But I ask people, think about your past. Have you ever been like me and wanted to keep control rather than give God control? If so, take a few minutes to write out some situations that come to mind. How did those situations play out? So what I want you to think about today as you're going throughout your day is, have you had moments like I had where I loved to have control and I really didn't want to hand control over to anyone else? I want you to think about that. And I want you to think about how that turned out for you, okay? Then the next thing that I ask in this book is to think about the word acknowledge. What does the word acknowledge mean to you? Webster's dictionary says, I say in here, it says, to say that you accept or do not deny the truth or existence of something. It really got to a point in my life where I had to acknowledge that I was very prideful. I had to acknowledge that my priorities were way out of line. I had to acknowledge that I was not allowing him to have his way. So as I get these messages and people tell me, I really don't consider myself a very religious person, I really don't consider this, or I've been hurt in the past, or this is great, because you were acknowledging these things. You were acknowledging that you've been hurt. You were acknowledging that maybe you don't trust or you don't believe. So this is awesome that you are the first step in giving over control is acknowledging. And then I acknowledge that because of these things, then now moving forward, I wanted to do things differently. So now I'm acknowledging. I'm acknowledging that once I went a certain direction, and now I'm acknowledging now that I'll need to go another direction. That's the very first step, is acknowledging. Proverbs 3:6 says, in all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Okay, guys, that is huge. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. Hold on, let me get a drink. Okay, he doesn't say, insert your name, Monique, Tiffany, Stacy, Natalie, whoever, Jeremiah. He doesn't say, pray 10 hours today, read 50 chapters, go serve at 3 soup kitchens this week, give $10,000, and then I'm going to make your path straight. He doesn't say, when you get your act together, when you can go without being rude to somebody for a week, when you can quit doing this, and this,
then I'm going to make your path straight. No, he says, acknowledge me. Acknowledge me. So many times people think we have to have everything, our lives perfect, squeaky clean before we come to the Lord and he'll hear us. And that is not the case. He wants you to come just as you are. Right now, all your imperfections, all of your dark parts that maybe nobody knows, he just wants you to come to him and acknowledge him. And when you begin to do that, and you begin to acknowledge him, he is going to begin to make your path straight. So the next thing that I say is, I hope it's okay, but I like asking questions. When you initially saw the words, give God control, for today's topic, what did you think that meant? So think about that. What do you think? Oh my gosh. Okay. Day one, give God control. Okay. Shoot. If I give him control, he is going to send me to like some far away continent and I am going to be living in a hut the rest of my life. That's what giving God control looks like. He is going to ask me to do things that I totally do not want to do if I give him control. That is not the case. That is not the case. When you give God control, it is the safest place that you can be because he designed you. We're going to talk about it in the next couple of days. He designed you with this unique design, with unique passions and gifts, and for such a time as this. And when you acknowledge him and you start allowing him to have control, you are going to start walking in who he made you to be. And that's the safest place you can be. It's not going to be doing things that are scary that you don't want to do. Now, don't get me wrong. You may have to step out and do some things and be courageous, but he's never gonna ask you to do things that he hasn't equipped you to do. So we need to trust him. We need to trust him. So seek after God. The final thing that I say here, the verse that I want you to think about today is Jeremiah 29:13. You will seek me and find me when? You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. So acknowledge me in all your ways. Seek me with all your heart. He just wants our all. He just wants everything within us just to want him, to desire him, to desire for him to have his way. The first step, day one, today, give God control. Control is hard. You know, I'm going to finish up with just a couple more thoughts and then we're going to pray together. But control is something that I struggle with majorly. I don't know if you have any children that are getting near the age of driving, but for the first time that you get in the car with your child, and they're driving for the first time, oh my word, that is like, I don't have control of that steering wheel or that gas or that brake. And my child has control of this. It's kind of like scary, to say the least. No matter how much you love that child and maybe even trust that child, it's hard handing over control. I kind of got to laughing a couple of nights ago. We were playing the game Apples to Apples. Have you ever played that game, Apples to Apples? It's a game where you get these cards and there's a topic and you've got to have a card and you've got to put it down which topic you think. So if it says scary, everybody's got cards and they've got to put down a card that is scary. And then the person over here takes it and they try figuring out which card they think is the best card that equals scary. And as we're playing the game, I'm thinking, I love board games. I love games. I love playing cards. I love games. I'm a competitive individual. I'm driven. Game night at our house usually ends up with somebody crying because mama's not just going to let somebody win because they're the child. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm playing this game, I'm thinking, I do not like this game. Like, I'm even getting mad. I'm like, this game is so dumb. Like, this game is so dumb. Why do you guys think it's fun? And then I'm getting mad as other people are going, well, they're not choosing my card. I'm like, you're crazy. Like, how do you think spider webs are not scary?
Spider webs are scary. If you've never played apples to apples, then you don't know what I'm talking about. And as I was going to bed that night, I'm thinking, why did I dislike that game so much? Like, to the point of, I never want to play that game again. I do not like that game. And as I was laying in bed, I was like, oh my gosh, it is because, Monique, you are a control freak. Like, whenever we play Monopoly, whenever we play cards, whenever we play anything else, no matter what kind of hand I'm dealt, no matter how the chips fall, I'm still in control of how I'm doing things, right? I still have a little bit of control. And if I lose, I lose. But I controlled what card I put down. But in this over here, I have no control over what this person is going to say and which one they're going to pick. The winning is out of my hands. And so I'm like, whoa, Monique, control. You like control. So I don't know. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you love to hold on to that control. But during these 21 days, the very first thing that I can hopefully encourage you to do before you do any other day, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, is to hand over control. Hand it over to him. Just trust in him. Trust and know that he's got this, that he's got you, and that he's not going to lead you wrong. All right, we're going to pray really quick. We're going to end each day with prayer, and then we're going to talk for a couple of seconds, and then we're going to end it, okay? Let's pray. Lord, I love you so very much, and I thank you for just bringing everybody together for such a time as this. Lord, thank you for every single person watching this, that they are seeking after you. Lord, that is the most amazing thing ever, because I know when they seek after you, they are going to find you. They are going to find you. And it's not going to be the words in the video or this book that is going to change their lives every day, but it is going to be having an encounter with you, with the living God, that is going to change their lives. I know you are going to speak to them. I know that you are going to make their path straight as they hand over control and acknowledge you in all of their ways. Lord, I love you. Lord, I pray for them as they go about these days devoting to you. I pray that you help them stay focused. When or if distractions come their way, I pray, Lord, that you help them push through those distractions and that they stay on this course through the next 21 days. I love you, Lord. I thank you for everything that you're doing and that you're going to continue to do. In your name, amen. All right, guys, here's the deal. If you have the book, make sure to do your homework. Make sure to do your homework. The last thing that I say in the book is end today by writing out your thoughts as a prayer to God. Talk to him like you talk to your best friend. Tell him your hopes and your fears. Tell the Lord why you desire him to be the foundation of your business. What are you expecting from this 21 days of focused prayer? That is what I want you to do. If you've got the book, write it out in the book. If you don't have the book, get you a notebook and write it out. Talk to God. Tell him. If you can journal it, talk to him like he's your best friend. Don't feel like you have to talk this formal language or you have to say the right words. Be honest. It's coming from your heart. It's your heart that he's looking at right now. He's not looking at how you speak or what you do. He is looking at your heart. And so just lay it all out there. Finally, the last thing that I say in the book are some walk it out points. Here are things that you can do to walk out giving God control. Reflect on the things that we talked about today. Why do you want to give God control? What does giving God control look like to you? Talk to him about this process. Explain your fears to the Lord. Commit to these 21 days, you guys, of focused time with the Lord and stick it out. Start each day by telling the Lord you want him to have control. Ask him to open doors and to guide your steps. Find a friend to walk out these 21 days with you. Discuss your thoughts about each day's topic. And finally, memorize and meditate on Proverbs 3:6 and 29:13. If you've got your little note cards, this comes in the book bundle when you buy the book. Flip to day 1. We have day 1, giving God control. Flip up to it, and I wrote in something, actually. Add in Proverbs 3:5. So this is Proverbs 3:6. Add in Proverbs 3:5, which is, look it up, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. And then Proverbs 3:6 is, in all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your path. So again, add Proverbs 3:5. That's your bonus points. Be an overachiever. Add in Proverbs 3:5. And today, this is the important reason why we want you to not try doing several days in one day. Because today, I want you to focus, memorize and meditate. That's what this M2 stands for. Memorize and meditate. Think about it. Think about these 2 verses. Read them over in your head. Take this with you. We didn't really have this set up to where it sits up on your table. This is meant to sit at your bedside or wherever you study to do your book work. This is meant for you to carry throughout the day. Carry it with you everywhere you go. If you don't have this, we have the verses that I'm going to put on here that you can print out if you want to print out. Put it on a mirror. Take it with you. Put it in your purse. But read over these verses. Meditate. Memorize. Think, hide them in your heart. This is a process. This is a process. We're praying, but we're also taking the word and we are ingesting it and we are devouring it and we are meditating on it. So trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not into your own understanding. That's Proverbs 3:5. In all your ways acknowledge him and he shall direct your paths. And then finally the last verse is Jeremiah 29:13. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all of your heart. Those are the 2 verses for today. All right. I love you guys. Thank you for joining. And follow along in the 50K to Pray. That's where this Facebook group. And I'm going to share some worship music with you guys today and the verses here that you can print if you do not have the little flip book to put in your purse. Okay? I love you. Thank you so much for devoting this first day of giving God control. I can't wait to see the stories that unfold, how the Lord's going to work in your life. So I love you all. See ya. Bye.